my name is Rachel. This is Peach Knits, and this is also my January 2024 knitting podcast update, stash busting update, all of that. I guess, okay, I'm a bit out of practice. I'm a bit rusty, but in terms of FOs for this month, I've got nada. I haven't finished anything this month. Not really. I feel like I should just go straight into the whips because the closest thing I have to an FO this month is this sock. She definitely needs a blocking. She's kind of sitting weird, but this was the sock that I mentioned in my last video with the lace motif, which is just like, oh my gosh, isn't that gorgeous? But yes, this is the Winter's Frost sock by This Handmade Life, and it's a free pattern, so I highly recommend you check it out. I think she's got quite a few free sock patterns, and I think I'm gonna knit more socks this year. I'm kind of enjoying it. I don't know why I'm like surprised by that. I guess I was kind of always intimidated by sock knitting, but I think it's nice to have a project that's like very clearly for on the go. It's much harder to carry a sweater around with you or even a scarf, but like socks can like fit into your clutch, you know what I mean? So it's very portable and I like that. So I finished the first sock, and before I had a chance to let second sock syndrome sit in, I've started on the second, and I've really only just made very early progress on the lace, like just started the lace motif. So this one I'm using Knit Picks. I'm using the Knit Picks undyed stroll yarn, which is their sock yarn, like 4-ply. It's super wash. It's really soft and fluffy. I quite like it. I just bought a bunch of it back in the day, and this is like accounted for in my stash. But I just bought a bunch undyed because I thought that I would want to dye it, which I did. But also like it looks beautiful undyed, right? I love this kind of ecru color. I don't know if that's the right word. I feel like this is ecru. Let me know if it's not. Should I just say cream? Do I sound pretentious? Probably. But I've been working on that and really enjoying it. And I just kind of shove it in my bag and pull it out whenever. I had to go to the vet yesterday. Nothing serious, thankfully. It's all good. But I just had it in my bag while I was in the waiting room because me and my partner were there as walk-ins. So we didn't know how long we'd be waiting. And I just had it on me because I take it with me everywhere I go. And so it was just a really easy way to pass the time. I'm really enjoying sock knitting at the moment. The other major whip I have going is this one. Now, I did say I don't want more than 3 whips going at a time, and like I don't want a bunch of UFOs that I drop and pick back up again, because as much as my brain like naturally falls into that pattern, my brain can't back itself up when it does. Like I forget what I don't have any notes. I don't know where I was at in the pattern. Like it's just not something I should let myself do. I can't be trusted. But this actually was, oh, it's got fluff all over it. I'm sorry. But this is a completely black sweater pattern. And I have context for this. I just can't get over the stupidity of me being like, I gotta ease myself back into knitting, guys. I really lost the love for the craft, and then one of my first projects back is a completely plain black sweater. Anyway, the context behind this was when I was first getting into knitting and no, it was just Bellish the app. Do you guys remember that? I kind of wish it was still around. I think there was a lot of criticism around it though, but I'm not super familiar with it because I was kind of new to the community at the time. But my mom was kind of like, oh, like knitting, isn't that kind of like for people who have too much time on their hands? Like she didn't really like get it as something that I enjoyed to do. And because I'm a stage 5 mom pleaser, I was like, look mom, look at this app. You can like customize a sweater exactly the way you want it, and then I can make it for you. And like in my head I'm thinking like this is gonna show her that this is a worthy use of my time. And then she was like, oh, okay. And so she like uses the app, and like she didn't even want a neckline. She's like, no, I don't want it too close to my neck. So it's like gonna be a rolled neck when I finish it. And it's just a completely black stocking knit sweater. But when I was going through and cleaning things up, I found this because of course I didn't finish this. This is torturous. But I picked it back up because I would still love to give this to my mom, and I'd love to give it to her before it cools down so she could actually wear it for winter. So when I started picking knitting back up in January. I know like you don't really have the background, but I only had half of one of these front panels done. So in January, I did the whole second half of one panel and then another panel, and now I'm on the sleeves. So I'm actually making pretty good progress. I'm using stitch markers to like keep track of all the decreases, and that way as well, when I do the other sleeve, I can just like take a stitch marker off the other sleeve and like attach it over, and like that's also an easy way to keep track of the length and the gauge and the width and stuff. So that's what I'm working on at the moment as my second project, and I don't think this will take me too long to finish. Maybe I'm getting too hopeful, but like in 1 month, I feel like I made a lot of progress on this, and maybe because it's somewhat mindless, it's all one color, and like I have almost been using it as a way to practice my knitting, like while I'm looking at other things, because I'd love to be a knitter that can like actually watch TV, and so I've kind of been using this as practice because it's just black yarn anyway, like what am I going to be looking at? And I'm actually quite enjoying it. It's not as torturous as I remember, so I should hopefully have this finished by next month, and then I can add that to the FO piles. I can block it. I can give it a good delinting, because obviously I've just been taking this around with me, and everywhere I go there's like wool and yarn fluff. So because it's black, it's kind of picked up stuff on the way. So finish it, block it, wash it up nice, and then give it to my mom. I think she probably doesn't even remember choosing the pattern now. Like it's probably not even relevant, but oh well. Oh, the other thing is over here. Oh, I don't want to pick it up. This is the other project, but this one I kind of only work on when I'm at my desk because it's annoying. It's a lot of color work changes and I don't love that. Also, don't do this. I don't know why. I thought maybe I could braid it, or I could figure out something to make this less hard than it's going to be, but I've tried a few things now, and I think I'm just going to have to weave them in, which I hate. But I do think it looks better when the color isn't passed through. Like here you can see I passed the color through because it was like a tiny color change, and I was like, I'm not weaving in ends for that. But you can see the color pops out through here, and it just doesn't look as good. So all here isn't passed through, and it looks better. But now I'm kind of regretting it because of all the extra work. I didn't explain what this was. This is a crochet beanie. It is meant to look like actually, I don't know. This is a calcifer inspired beanie. It's by VVN Stitches on TikTok. And the reason why I have this is because originally she released a free grid. And she was like, this is just a free grid I've been working on, guys. Has nothing to do with the video I posted about this beanie, which is fair. And I remember getting the grid off her website at some point and starting this, and then like it disappearing in the back of my closet somewhere. Like I said, I didn't really finish anything except for that beanie last year, so this was a UFO. But I really like the idea, and so I wanted to pick it back up again. I still have the grid, so I thought I would do it. But then like looking up VVN Stitches again today, I noticed that I think she's re-released it as a paid pattern now. So I don't know what to do in that situation. I think I'll probably just finish this, because as well, like I didn't have any instruction, I just had the grid, which is why this looks like this now. So I highly recommend you go check out her page for the paid pattern. It's just been a bit of a nightmare to crochet because of all the color changes. I feel like me and color work have beef. It looks beautiful, it genuinely looks beautiful, but the few times I've done color work, it's just not been an enjoyable experience at all. Like, maybe it's just not for me, I don't know, but especially when you're knitting and you're having to like carry floats over, or when you're crocheting and you have like a bunch of ends to weave in. Oh, I don't know, something about color work just like, so this one, like, I don't want to give up on, and I do work on it like when I'm at my desk and I can have all the colors in front of me and like the grid in front of me, but this one's probably still far away off. I don't think this is a whip that I will actively work on right now. Like I said, I don't want to be working on more than 3 at a time, and I don't want to be starting a bunch when I already have 3 that I'm working on. But the thing with this one is that I found it and it is my in progress Sophie shawl, and I don't want to give that up. in finding this, I think, like, I'm pretty sure this is all the yarn that I'll need to finish it. I'm hoping. We'll see. I'm gonna have to do some detective work to, like, figure out where I am in the pattern, but I think I could get this finished at some other point, but I'm not gonna consider this one of my... Maybe I shouldn't consider the Calcifer beanie as one of my active whips, because that is certainly a far way off. Huh. I think maybe with the Calcifer beanie, I just need to sit down one afternoon and just punt it out. Like, there's no other situation I can do it. I can't take this with me and, like, do it in, like, sorry, the Calcifer beanie. I can't take that in bed with me and, like, do it because it's just annoying with the color work. But this one I could. So I feel like this one I would work on more. Oh well. Okay, maybe that's a goal for this month. Maybe I will finish that Calcifer beanie and just have it done and, like, on my head instead of on my mind. So stupid. That is all my current whips. I'm a little nervous I'll keep finding them just, like, around like I did with the Sophie shawl, but I think it should be fine. Now onto, like, acquisitions and my stash busting update, which is, I feel like it's gonna be a negative update today, and that's okay because over 2023 I bought some yarn and I found some yarn in my house. In terms of what I bought, I don't have an excuse for this one. I genuinely don't. I bought more squish yarn. I just have to sit with this decision for a bit. I believe that my intention was, because I have a lot of odds and ends of different colors of squish, if I bought one, like, ecru kind of cream off-white type color, then I could use that to bolster the scraps and, like, maybe use them in a stripy sweater or something like that. I also really liked the idea of making myself a cinema roll from Sanrio. He's my favorite guy, like everyone else. I think he's the most popular across most countries, so I'm basic, what can I say? But I really liked the idea of making one of him as well, which is why I also got these. Some of these as well, like, is missing stuff because I did buy red squish yarn for the Spider-Man beanie. Like, I had enough grey and black and white as, like, scraps to do the bits, but for the actual beanie I needed another skein of red, so. But I bought some cinema roll colours. I wasn't sure which pink I would like, so I got both. And that's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 skeins of yarn that are now in my stash. I actually don't feel as nervous about using the white as I do this. I think I have, like, a lot, like, because it's white, it's a blank canvas, I could use it across a bunch of different projects. This, less so. So, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. But that's 15 skeins going into my stash that, like, realistically I should have known better and not gotten. But I do feel somewhat positively about the white yarn, because I do see potential in it. The other thing is that ages ago, I can't remember when, I found this in Kmart. This is chenille. Oh no, this is velvet and chenille are different, right? Well, this is velvet yarn from Kmart, and I was in Kmart for other reasons, and of course I bought something else. But I feel like this kind of yarn is quite rare in Australia. Like, if you go to Spotlight, you'll find chenille and velvet yarn that's usually imported American brands. I feel like the only place that people can get this kind of yarn at a, like, reasonable price and the quality looks good is Source of Fibre. That's, like, locally available, and, like, I really want to try their yarns. They look great. I just haven't had a check. Like, I mean, I'm not supposed to be buying yarn, so I haven't bought from them yet. But I do think it's great that they're finally really adding accessibility to these kind of yarns that we see crocheters and knitters in the US use, like, all the time. Like, they seem to have it coming out of every craft shop. But, like, chenille and velvet yarn, I just feel like are so much rarer here in Australia. So when I saw Kmart was making some, And it was like, I can't remember. I think it might have been like $3.50 for one of these or something like really cheap. I was like, I have to. And this was really the only color available. Like the rest of the colors were sold out. So I don't know. Maybe I make a frog. I don't know. I've always wanted to make a big squishy like amigurumi with this kind of yarn, and I've just never come across it at like what felt like a reasonable price. Or if you find chenille yarn in Australia, usually it's like a very thin gauge. It's not like this big bulky yarn. So yes, I could make an amigurumi with it, but it's not going to have that big like squish appeal that I feel like a lot of the ones I see online have. So now I have this, and I don't regret this purchase because this felt like a rarity, and I don't think I've seen it in Kmart since I bought this. It would have been months ago. I can't remember now, but yeah, I have to figure out what I'm going to do with it. But there are so many cool amigurumi patterns out there. I'm sure I'll find something that works for this, and I'll be very happy with that. I've also gotten this out of storage. It's a amigurumi color wheel. Color wheel amigurumi, and it's supposed to make a parrot. I think Maker is Lincraft's in-house brand, but this just came out of a trip to Lincraft that I also dragged my partner into. And he saw it and was like, that's so cute. You can just make it with this like one wheel. And I was like, if I follow the instructions right, I should be. Wow, it just got really dark out. Don't know what that's about. But yeah, I have this. It's 100 grams of acrylic yarn, and I don't know when I'm gonna make this, honestly. This isn't really something I'm usually drawn to, but he got so excited. He really likes birds. So here I am with a parrot amigurumi kit, and I'm gonna make it at some point. Like, it can't be that hard, right? The instructions are here. Amigurumi do scare me a little, but I think I could do it. We'll see. Even if it's ugly, he'll like it. I say that because he'll show me Pokemon that I'm like, it's kind of ugly. Like, I'm sure it's powerful and stuff, but I probably wouldn't have it on my team. It's not cute enough. And he's like, what? It's so cute. What are you on about? I think he just likes little guys, little creatures. So if this guy turns out a little funny looking, I think that'll just make him like it more, to be honest. Last thing I have from an acquisitions perspective is this is the thing I mentioned the other week. Oh no, it smells a bit moldy. I hope the mold didn't get to it. Or maybe it's just old. This was what I found in my closet of yarn that I had just completely forgotten I had bought. Oh, the receipt's in here. So you can find out exactly how much. I got eight of these 25-gram skeins of yarn. They are the Abbey Road The Wind Cries Merino, which is a merino baby alpaca and polyamide blend, which just feels really lovely. I don't know how it wears. I didn't really look into reviews on this, but I saw merino and baby alpaca, and this was on sale at the time. I'm remembering that now. That's why I would have bought this, because usually Abbey Road is so expensive. Where did the receipt go? I would have only bought it if it was on sale. Yeah. Okay, what's the date on here? June 2022. And I just put it in my closet and forgot about it, I suppose. But yes, 8 of these little guys. And what color did I get it in? I don't think it says. But it's this really nice, like, neutral kind of fade between, I'd say, like a cream to like a dark sandy beige. Really pretty. And I feel like this would make a lovely sweater. I'd love to make a sweater with this. I think it would be very like flowy and light. I bought this because of this like beautiful ultramarine color, I'm sure. Like, look at that. I love this kind of blue. And I have no idea what I'm going to use it for. It was never opened. But that's going to be 400 grams, right? Let me see. Yes, 400 grams. So let me do my maths. I've got 15 skeins of the squish. They're all 100 each. I've got 2 of the velvet yarn, which are 200 each, so let's count that as 4. I've got 8 of these 25 grams, which is 200 grams, right? Yes, that's 200 grams. So let's count that as 2. and then 400 grams there, so that's another 4. So that is, can't believe I'm doing math on camera. It's gonna be very upsetting. Is that 23? That's not too bad, I don't think. I've got my last update here where I actually used 21 skeins, so I kind of just put myself back to where I was. So that's not too bad, I don't think. And it's a new year. I'm refreshed. I have plans. I've got better structures and routines in place. So yeah, I feel like it should be fine. Oh, why did I write it like that? That's why I wrote it like that, my brain. Okay, so we're at 208.5 skeins of yarn. We hit the 200 mark, baby! Yeah, a bit anticlimactic as a stash busting update, but I figured getting back into this, I've got to cover the acquisitions that came in over the year, and just have, like, if I don't factor that in, then it's not really a stash bust, right? So from this point onwards, we should be making good progress, and even if we don't, I will be making things I love and enjoy, and that's kind of also the most important thing about crafting. So anyway, thanks for sticking around for this update. Like I said, a bit anticlimactic, but I should have some FOs next month.